5-4 Pittsburgh, late in the second period.
Leach out to the point to force the play. Did you see Brian Leach out to the Penguins' point?
Crosby looking. Loose in front. Still a loose puck picked up by Ricky. Shoots and scores. I think it'll Crosby. Crosby does get the goal. And Sidney Crosby has scored his first goal ever in a Pittsburgh Penguins uniform. Oh, slap me silly, Sidney.
Lukowich is able to work enough to keep the puck deep, to take some more time off the clock. But look how quickly the Penguins come back. Lemieux to Crosby, he scores! And they beat the clock. Crosby's second of the game came with 7 seconds left on Asham's penalty, so they'll still have 30 seconds of power play time to work with. It's 5-1 Penguins.
You mentioned earlier up the ice quickly. How about the pass and the redirection? Goaltender doesn't have a chance. And Lukowich is heading to the bench. You know, he had been in forechecking, so coming onto the ice, it looked like Ninema, who just couldn't get back into position quickly enough.
15 separating these two teams from a shootout. Laid across by Richards, all alone, Knuble, save made by Fleury. It's Janssen dealing it along. Malachar after that one had it chopped away. A pass behind to Knuble. Working on him as Malone. Onto the back, it comes Seidenberg on across to Janssen, shooting, and it went wide. Now Malone protects and sails it ahead, and here's Crosby on a breakaway. The game on his stick. Score! Sidney Crosby in overtime, and the Penguins have won the game 3-2.
Oh, what a play this was. The Flyers did everything but put the game away. Right through the middle. Brilliant pass. I believe that was Malone, right? Oh! And Crosby saw the hole on the stick side, hit it, game over. Malone did not dress in the last game. Healthy scratch. Did he pay some dividends?
Oh, I guess.
My, oh my, oh my. Crosby just showed poise. He saw the spot. Usually he dekes, that time he shot.
With 7 different goal scorers. But watch out. Crosby brings it in. Goes to the net. Scores! Sidney Crosby!
I think he's got a sweat going.
Oh, what a brilliant move, and he makes it 2-0 as he scores a power play goal. Boy, he is Mr. Highlight.
That was an explosion of speed, a 1-on-3, and Crosby gets through everyone. Watch him fake right and go left. Oh, and that's just a thing of beauty. That's just a thing of beauty.
It off. And here comes Nolan Pratt, and his shot, he missed the goal. In a big rebound, the Penguins could have a chance here. Mark Recchi and Sidney Crosby. Recchi down the wings, and Crosby in front, he scores! What a goal by Sidney Crosby! Absolutely off the charts.
Sidney Crosby knew that Recchi was going to find an open seam, and Crosby lunges out, stretches out to his maximum, and he finds that puck as it goes by the defender. And look at Sidney Crosby. Gets the blade on the puck. Absolutely sensational, or sensational, if you will.
And being held up there by Gonchar, nothing called, fortunately. Here comes Crosby the other way. Sidney Crosby to the goal shot. He scores! Sidney Crosby with a great individual play. And the Penguins have tied the game at 2, and it's a power play goal.
Well, Sidney Crosby had a little bit of an argument with Rick Jackman during the TV timeout. Oh, sleep there, Rick. Watch this move. Absolutely brilliant. Skates, using that wide body, using the hands. Watch him get the speed. Watch the wide base, the quick hands by Sidney Crosby. Look at that. Turns it to the forehand, reaches, chips the puck through the 5-hole of Auld, catches Auld moving from his left to his right. Absolutely. What a goal. I mean,
advantage for Pittsburgh. Morris steals it, trying it for Doan, can't get out. Here's Whitney, in dig, centered, Recchi. Now Crosby, he scored!
Oh,
he scored from the seat of his pants on a backhand. It is 5-2. What a show this 19-year-old is putting on.
You've got to be kidding me. We've seen Ovechkin last year. We saw Eric Staal of the Carolina Hurricanes score a brilliant goal. And we have just seen one for the ages. Falling down, backwards spinorama, short side off the crossbar and in. And the players of the Pittsburgh Penguins bench and their coach Michel Therrien, they had their eyes wide open in disbelief. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. The thing about the stick that he uses, there's a one-handed spinorama, but the stick that he uses with the no curve on it, he's able to get to his backhand and fire it, hoist it.
They're 13-1-2 in their last 16 here at Mellon Arena. They have made it a tough place for visiting teams. And here comes Sidney Crosby. Surrounded by Canadians. Shoots the puck and scores! Oh, what a play by Crosby. He beat everybody that time to give the Penguins a 1-0 lead.
And I'm looking right now at the face of Evgeny Malkin right beside me. Absolutely unbelievable. He can't believe it. I want to touch his glove going by. I want some love and say that was absolutely stupendous. What a move. Sidney Crosby in traffic going coast to coast. It was 1-on-4. He was surrounded and falling down. Was able to go glove side on Abisher. What a goal, Staggy.
One of the best goals we've ever seen in this building, really. I've never seen anybody score a goal like that. Hopping off his skates.
But Pittsburgh is just kept into the outside. Not allowed him to get anything free.
Crosby pokes the puck free. Joseph's out of the play, and the puck is in the back of the net. I believe it banked in off Mikhail Grabovski, who was sliding back to the goal. And Crosby will get the goal from the inboards, 3-1 Pittsburgh.
For his 100th NHL goal.
His 200th assist tonight, his 300th point. All the milestones out of the way in one night. His third point of the night.
Green light to commit an infraction.
Although that assumes that the player would know. Here's Sidney Crosby, what a goal! Sidney Crosby just didn't stop on the play, and with one hand on his stick, he beats Gustafsson 4-1 Pittsburgh.
Jim, we've talked all night about Crosby's ability to be all over the puck, and he just seemingly never stops until he can close the gap and keep it alive. We've seen it along the wall, we've seen it in the offensive zone. Another example here, a swinging stick by Kaberle, and he gets a little bit of a break. But why do great players, they make their own breaks. Look at his feet, keeps moving, taps it right before Gustafsson goes for the poke check. And it's not how hard you're able to put it on net, it's where you are.
Stanley Cup winning goaltending for Marc-Andre Fleury, who was just absolutely fabulous early in the season.
Here goes Crosby, the attack. Sid Crosby rated on goal, scores! What a goal by Crosby on his second shift of the night. And he continues to be red hot.
Patrick Marleau scored his 30th goal of the season for San Jose, the first in the NHL to get to 30. Now Sidney Crosby joins him. If you could watch this play without Crosby in hockey gear, right here, he swivels his hips and makes it almost impossible to get full body contact. Right when he goes through the middle of the ice, this is one little skate pivot. Jay Bouwmeester's a terrific skating defenseman, but Crosby goes around him and deposits the puck past Mika Kiprusoff.
To the middle, finds Vermistrov, and Bufflin's one-timer. He fanned on it off the heel of the stick. Crosby behind everybody, in alone, scores! The second of the night for Crosby, the 20th of the year, and the Penguins lead it 2-1.
Goaltender Pavlik, who was one-on-one with the great Sidney Crosby. And that looked relatively easy, did it not? And when you got it going, you got it going. There was a lot of room, and you could see the legs open up.
15 games against Atlanta. And a hat trick. Here's Letang to Crosby. He scores! That's the first goal of the year for Crosby. He led the league last year with 12 first goals. He's got a 25-game scoring streak, and the game is tied at 1.
But alive. Letang, a solid jolt. And back comes Kunitz with Crosby. Crosby busts at the net. Kunitz, rebound, scores! Crosby, points in 12 in a row. Crosby's back on. Derek England off the defense, moves the puck to center. Here's Crosby with a burst of speed, up the middle, gets open and scores! Welcome back, Sid!
makes the play defensively, and then heads right up ice. Glenn, you talked about carrying the puck through the middle. Well, he felt a little bit more comfortable this time. Took it wide, took it hard to the net, and just a perfectly placed shot. You talk about frustration.
Buried that. There's been a chance for this line in just about every shift. Zdeněk McCullough. Crosby goes after the puck. Dupuis goes back to the front of the net. Down and up and battling Milan Yurtsina. Turns back. Loses the defenseman. Put the puck at the net. Scores! Posted in.
From the beginning, does it again. Protects the puck, keeps his legs moving, takes a hit, absorbs it, but it's the quick movements, darting and then right on the net and in.
Relentless on the puck, and it all starts from a Sidney Crosby face-off win.
That would be the argument for next time, right? Here it's jammed along by Dupuis. Came across Crosby. Score!
Goal scorer in Sidney Crosby. But a lot of the play for this line and the Penguins, they tried to play below the goal line. The win battle by Pascal Dupuis, the backhand pass by Chris Kunitz, and a wide open net for Sidney Crosby.
Knowing where to go after your team loses a faceoff helps you so much create that down low play that you're talking about. They knew where to go. Kunitz knew where to go. Dupuis knew where to go.
Up from their own zone with 1:26 to go in regulation time. Chris Kunitz driving up into the Islanders zone. Martinek goes back for the puck. Kunitz finishes him off. Dupuis steps out. In front shot. Score! Sidney Crosby! He finishes it off, and the Penguins take a 4-3 lead on the 250th career goal for Sidney Crosby.
Hard. Chips it in. Martinek should have played it. He tried to eat it. Yeah, he's going to eat it all right. The big hit by Kunitz dislodges it to Dupuis, and Crosby's on the backside. Number 1, forechecker, take the man. Number 2, get the puck, and number 3, get available. That is how you draw it up a forecheck. The Penguins chip it in.
Drops it for Hamonic. Hamonic with a shot that's tipped. Goes wide. Fleury trying to shovel it to the corner. Didn't get it there. But it's recovered by Neal for the Penguins. Looking for Crosby. Crosby back to Neal. Against DeHaan. Neal shot it wide. And it caroms right to Vanek. Looking for Tavares. Can't get it there. Bursting in is Crosby. Trying to get through. He scores! What a play by Sidney Crosby to win it in overtime for Pittsburgh. The Penguins win it 3-2. Anders Nilsson, welcome to the National Hockey League elite. Beaten in overtime in successive games, first by Alex Ovechkin and tonight by Sidney Crosby.
Situation, but watch the hard work comes back. He just keeps his feet moving, and now he's deking and a dive and going to net and just chips it by Nilsson, and that's the first time that Anders Nilsson wasn't aggressive. He got caught back in his crease, and this Crosby just goes through the middle of DeHaan and Travis Hamonic and chips it on his backhand, but there's a superstar.
The Penguins end. Worked ahead by Pouliot to the stick of Kunitz, and he's got a flying Sidney Crosby. Gets around Green, backhand shot, he scores! Sidney Crosby, what a remarkable move, and the Penguins have the 1-0 lead.
To break out of it tonight and watch this move through the neutral zone around Andy Green in one motion, goes to his backhand, and this is some shot. Upstairs, oh my, that is as pretty as it gets. We saw Ovechkin do it last week as far as
It's Girgensons to the outside of Niskanen, out in front, steered off the side of the goal. Brian Flynn, shorthanded. Now Niskanen, he'll quarterback his way out. In full flight, Crosby walks in, he scores! What a goal! Sidney Crosby gets the pass from Matt Niskanen. It's a power play goal, and the Penguins have a 1-goal lead.
The shorthanded chance first by Buffalo. The save on the short side on the redirection by Fleury. Here's the chance again. Fleury with the toe save. Makes a second one, and now Pittsburgh has some time. And Sidney Crosby, unbelievable. When he came through there, it looked like there was no way that he'd be able to find any extra room. but he just one little move with the puck, one hard stride.
And Malkin winds it up. He swings in, continues on, feeding it back. There's a shot, they score. Crosby fires it home. And the Penguin power play clicks at 5:29 of the second period.
Watch how everybody gets kind of mesmerized over here by Malkin, and Crosby's all alone at the top of the circle. You can't really leave him unattended, as you well know, and he gets his 34th of the year with the man advantage.
Behind now for Pouliot. Kunitz hands it off to Crosby, coming with speed around Green. Crosby's backhander. Did that go in? I think it did.
Yes,
it went up underneath the crossbar. Crosby scores a beauty off the rush on a backhand shot to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Back to Thornton, bouncing as it came off the bottom dasher. And here's Crosby with speed against Carlson, and he scores! Sidney Crosby with the backhander, and we're tied 1-1.
Breaks the bubble. We're going to see him take off through the neutral zone. Nobody in front of him. He's got a lane, and that's far side. He catches Niemi, just overplays it a little bit. Antti Niemi does. And part of the reason is the speed of Sidney Crosby. You can see him get his head up. He's shooting all the way.
Patrick Hornquist, Ben Lovejoy, and Paul Martin on defense against the Kyle Turris line. Mark Stone and Clark MacArthur. Mathot and Carlson defensively for the Senators. Here's Crosby shooting. He scores! Sidney Crosby sends a message early. Another big first goal. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh, 10 seconds into the game.
Face-off win. They try the stretch pass. They intercept it. Martin does, and there's a big gap as the Penguins go 4-on-2, and Crosby gets wide open, and he goes under the arm of the Hamburglar, and Crosby steals one there. Penguins up by 1. Awesome stuff.
You saw Perron go hard to the net. That's where you score and generate.
They score! It is Crosby with his 300th goal.
Look at what happens off of this faceoff. You win a draw, Hornquist is jumping through. You jump through there, it causes some havoc. You get there, it draws attention, and then Crosby beats Couturier to that post.
And how about the decision by Ian Cole? Rather than moving the puck over to his defense partner, Derek Pouliot, he gets that thing through, and it finds a way, and eventually Crosby gets it.
Hornquist back on the ice here after he went off in the first period.
Marc-Edouard Vlasic back to the puck, and it goes in off the stick of Crosby. Everything he touches turns to gold, and it's 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Oh, he can't believe it. He's resting on that crossbar. He was surprised. Everybody was surprised except Sidney Crosby, 87. Take a look at this forecheck. This attack. Tries to turn it up, and Crosby, was that one-handed? Look at this strength. Take a look. He's got one hand on the stick. Vlasic shoots that up the wall.
Zach Werenski, a name you'll be hearing a lot of for many years to come. There's a shot down low. Save made. Rebound. Crosby. He scores another. Yet another big first goal for Sidney Crosby on the road.
Wow. It never ceases to amaze what this man is able to come up with. Knocks this puck out of the air. Take a look here. This puck's going to go to the front of the net. Sidney Crosby is going to pick up the rebound, chip it off Bobrovsky, and then knock it out of the air before it comes down to the ice, and Bobrovsky can get to his right side. What a beautiful goal. A masterpiece by Crosby here as he works out of the corner, tips it up in the air to himself. And
Schultz over to play. But Hornquist got in the way of his ability to shoot it in. And then Wilson has to take the pass off the skate to Crosby. Crosby to Hornquist to Crosby. The shot. He scores! Incredible shot by Crosby upstairs. And the Penguins are on the board.
boy, that was close to being offside. You're going to have to take a look at that. You take advantage of the glove on the right hand as a left shooter. I was. And then this play at the other end. That looked good to me as Wilson just got it over that blue line. The give and go and the snapshot high on that glove side to the short side. Typically, the goaltender doesn't have the glove on that right hand. Crosby knows it, takes advantage of it.
Barging in is Hornquist. Here he is, coming to the net. And it's knocked off the stick. A diving play by Jordy Ben. Crosby tried to center. And he banks one in! Crosby with an incredible goal from behind the net. Gives the Penguins the lead with just seconds remaining, 21.5.
And when the puck came to Hornquist, came back to Sheary to Sid, he tries to bank it in here, and then knocks it in out of the air right off Niemi's numbers and in. There's the bank shot once, that didn't quite work. There's the whack, off his back and in. And it's all intentional, folks. He was trying to do it. And he put it in right between the 3 and the 1. Sidney Crosby, thanks very much. Talk about hand-eye coordination.
And to center ice is Letang, the Penguin defenseman, and over the line. Cuts into the middle again. He did last night. Gets it again. In front for Crosby. Unbelievable deflection. Surgical. Sidney Crosby ties the game at 2.
Man, that was close to an offside. As I watched Sidney Crosby go across the line, Chris Letang. What great patience. Now there's going to be a hesitation right now. The Kings are taking their time changing. Sutter is throwing his troops over the bench, so I guess he's had a chance to look at it. And I believe it's good to go here. We'll see if we have any kind of challenge at that blue line. But look at the play. I love this. Crosby gives a target to Chris Letang. Look at the target. Bang. And he's got his skate in behind us.
Great play there from Sidney Crosby below the goal line to get that puck into the slot area.
Different ringers for Crosby on this shift.
Here's Gensel, side of the net, score! It's Crosby, and it's 1-0.
Penguins on this shift. Jake Gensel does a great job of keeping the play alive. Sean Couturier loses his stick. And Gensel gives it to Crosby. No chance for Neuvert.
And that's just a coach having a feel. Things weren't going particularly well for Pittsburgh. They weren't getting a lot of thrust on goal. Put some live legs out there, and you see the celebration from Sidney Crosby.
Again, now Schultz starting away, and he'll leave it back there to Crosby. Crosby swings to center, gets in over the line, cutting in between the defense, backhand scores! Holy mackerel! What a goal by Sidney Crosby with one hand on his stick.
Well, I'll tell you, you're not going to see that one every day. Well, I think the Sabre fans should almost give this a little bit of applause. Look at this. He just splits the 2D, puts the puck on the backhand, one hand on the stick, and able to flick it right over the glove of Robin Lehner. I can understand why Robin might not have been ready for that, not thinking ever he was going to try it one-handed, maybe pull it back over to his forehand again. But no, he puts it in for his 41st goal of this season, 81st point.
But he tried to pass it. Dumoulin deflected it, but it goes behind the net before Thorburn can put it out front again. And Letang was never able to get back.
Score! Crosby was at the front of the net. Crosby was at the side of the net. If that is his, it's his 400th. The referees are still talking.
Crosby would have had his 400th a few games ago. He had an early whistle in the last game. He had one because of a goalie interference call taken back. And we'll see on the sharp angle, that's why it was stunning in the building. It was quiet on the ice. No one knew whether it went in the net. But Sidney Crosby has got his 400th career goal.
It's pouring in. Happens along the boards, but Crosby digs it out, tries to feed. Gensel knocked out of the air. Crosby, unbelievable goal! He flipped it up to himself and then into the back of the net. Sidney Crosby, are you kidding me?
Well, let's take one more look. Here's Crosby, up and over, and hand-eye extraordinaire, Sidney Crosby. There's a bat off the ice, a bat and a chip in behind Carey Price like he's done it a million times. And folks,
figures to be part of this unless the game ends before the Penguins can make a change. Letang chased by Hall, swept aside. Devils take the puck back. Hischier was leaning in the wrong direction, but the puck settled here by Hall. Tries to work it in deep, played ahead for Crosby. Sidney Crosby with Green back, shoots, rang it off the pipe, and they score! It deflected overtime.
Well, he did it again. He batted the puck out of midair after initially hitting the post. Baseball style. Sidney Crosby ends it in overtime. And there's the play from Taylor Hall. He tried to chip it to Nico Hischier, but it's chipped up instead by Letang, who got to that puck. You see Crosby rip it off the post, and what a play as he follows it up in baseball style. As baseball started today, Kenji, the opening of the regular season. And that's going to be a highlight type ball. He's done this so often, especially of late. Crosby ends it in overtime with a beautiful goal. One more time. Off the post. This is just terrific hand-eye coordination. Unbelievable. Keith Kincaid doesn't get set. He doesn't expect that. And not many players can continually do a consistency. One more time. Remember, East Coast Power and Gas, the official energy provider of the New Jersey Devils. Tough 4-3 loss in overtime.
2 minutes gone here in overtime. Johnson brings it across the line for Crosby. Crisscrossing with Brassard. Crosby being watched by Strome. Crosby, button hook in the corner. Still has it. Great move. Here is Crosby. Backhand. He scores! What a goal by the captain. And the Penguins win it in overtime.
Backhand side. Just a real nice job by him. Look at this. Little 10-2 finds his way. Nothing there. Doesn't force a play. Button hooks back and then challenges. What a move. Right there around Ryan Strome, and then shoves it on the backhand side to win this game in overtime.
Sidney Crosby came into this game without a goal. He started things off with a power play in the first period. He finishes it off here in overtime.
Yeah, those guys were out there for a while. Sidney Crosby came off the bench. He was fresh. He held on to the puck. He was patient. And when it was time to challenge an attack, he picked the perfect time to do it. A little spin through the legs, walked in, gets Cam Talbot down and puts it upstairs. That's a big-time move by Sidney Crosby.
They tapped out the center ice. Derek Brassard in the middle for Chris Letang. Swings it over to Crosby. On the backhand, protects it, backhander, he scores! Sidney Crosby. Nobody does it better. Roofs a backhand, and the Penguins have a 1-0 lead.
Man, Mearsy, as he shields off a defender. Here he goes to the backhand. Smith goes down. Crosby goes upstairs. That backhand is back for Crosby. Not that it went anywhere. Holy smokes. He's a foot from the goal line. He chips it up over the fallen Smith. And that is scary stuff.
For Letang. Evgeny Malkin looking. Letang. Malkin dusts it off. Still waiting. Down to Kessel. Gets it right back. Bill for Malkin. Into the slot. Seuss never got through. Malkin still trying to grab it. Crosby scores! Right along the goal line, if not behind it. Crosby on the power play. And it's 3-2.
Stick a little more often because this is not fair. A 5-on-3 basically, and there's Crosby with the chip over the shoulder of Smith. Puck comes down to his stick. May have hit his skate first, guys. Did he corral that with his skate down on the goal line? I can't tell there. I can't see Crosby.
Crosby has in 31 games 46 points. Just in regular season games against Philly, and a steal, and out in front, Crosby has scored! 1-0, the visitors.
John Carlson, pass over, a circle, the centering feed is blocked by Schultz. Scoring summer squad by Quinn Park University. Schultz ahead, Crosby onside, behind the fence toward the net, he scores! Incredible individual play, Sidney Crosby! We're tied up at 2.
Wow, that unbelievable what you're seeing here. The Penguins. Quick little area pass. Lob it up there. Schultz, Crosby, just onside. We'll take a look at it and hope he's not even playing goal here. He's afraid to get run over. I have no idea what Holtby's doing on this play. He's afraid of a collision with Crosby.
Safety will be definitely looking at that one.
The head was the main point of contact on the hit thrown by Eric Staal. Here's a pickoff by Crosby. Skates toward the goal. Crosby on the backhand, denied. The penalty coming up against Minnesota. Tapped all the way back. Murray almost left the crease. Good thing he's still back there because the puck was headed right in.
Oh boy, that would have been not good.
Good thing he wasn't faster. Behind the defense, Crosby skates on in. Backhander. He scores!
He's calling a goal. Crosby knows it's a goal. So I'm going to go with what Crosby says, and the referee who pointed goal underneath the bar as the defensemen collide on the blue line for the Wild with the extra attacker on. Comes out just as quick as it goes in. We talked about his ability to pass on the backhand, now to score on the backhand. On the delayed penalty, the Penguins had a 6-on-5 because Crosby was impeded 20 seconds prior to this. They hit the
5 first-round picks, and the rest are things that Joe Sakic has done to make this team in deals that he's had. Now along comes Crosby. Scored to tie the game.
Schultz wide. Johnson steps up, good stick, and then Crosby just grabs his puck, puts it down, and look at his patience. Wait, and then just slide it right under the glove of Grubauer. Beautiful play, athletic play, patience with the puck. And in that 4-on-4 situation, Mike Sullivan went with the big boys.
Up there, it's rammed to the boards by Aston Reese. Ruido on the hard around, trying to stop it was Teddy Bluger. He will shovel it in. Head to the bench for a change. Penguins up 4-2. Point effort tonight for Evgeny Malkin. Tristan Jarry, 20 saves. Crosby to the net, he scores! Sid is back. It's 5-2.
Crosby, who took the McCann feed, who was tripped on the ice, makes the play. Crosby on the backhand, that's appropriate. And Dumba, no chance for Dubnyk. And Dubnyk's got to be shaking his head. I know Boudreau just did, and for Sidney Crosby, he's back in the goal column.
That's cleared along by Justin Schultz. Detroit attempts to get out, they don't. Zucker, Crosby. He'll stretch it all the way back. Sidney Crosby lays it along Marcus Pettersson. Crosby, he scores! By Sidney Crosby. 4-1 Penguins.
He's almost 100%. Zucker, Crosby, here's Crosby. Looks, and how about the patience? Waits, and then puts himself back in position. And a bullet to beat Jimmy Howard to make it 4-1.
Fabulous. End over end.
Rust and Crosby have come on. Penguins have changed all three. Joseph with the puck. D'Angelo after Georgiev put it by him. Up the boards. Joseph has it. Now Crosby. Rangers dead tired. Here's Joseph to Crosby. He shoots. He scores. The Penguins held on to the puck. The Rangers wore down. The Penguins come back and win it in overtime.
Georgiev behind the net. Some miscommunication with D'Angelo, and then that just gave Crosby some time. He waited, and right through the legs. And I think that's one Georgiev wishes he had back. Here it is again. Just goes right through him.
Down to 20 seconds remaining on the Voracek minor. Pettersson moves the puck in deep. Handled behind the net by Carter Hart. Gives it away. They score! Guess who? Sidney Crosby. Off the Carter Hart mistake, Penguins tie the game at 2.
The shoot-in by Pettersson. Carter Hart goes out to play the puck. Handles it, holds it a little long, and then watch the hand-eye coordination of Sidney Crosby. Bats it out of the air and just one-hands it into the net. Here he is. Just bats it out of the air, and then one hand just swipes at it and chips it into the empty net. Pretty risky play by Carter Hart.
Now Brian Rust sends it cross ice. Crosby Dumoulin, Rust, Gensel across, Crosby, he scores! Sidney Crosby! Magnificent passing from Pittsburgh, and it's 1-0.
And Crosby in the warm-up, the way these guys play together, they worked on this pass. They passed it back and forth about 100 times. I was watching in the pregame warm-up, and Blackwood gets across. He gets a skate blade on it, but that's not enough. That hit the post.
Evan saves in the Penguins. Ryan Dumoulin,
nice
Sidney
job.
Crosby's stick, able to push it forward. The attacking zone, Letang inside out. They tried to get the shot off. It's down to a rebound. Crosby, he scores! Sidney Crosby slams it home, and the Penguins with a 1-0 lead.
Look at the bench. The bench is going crazy because Crosby had to go get a stick off the bench. It was an incredible handoff. What a relay by the Penguins trainers to Sidney Crosby, who gave his stick up to Dumo, who had broken his stick. Dumo makes a play with Crosby's. Crosby goes to the bench, gets the handoff, and here he comes. Bingo! What a play by the Penguins all the way around. It took everybody, the bench. And then Crosby, as he looks to the bench, points over there to get it bronzed or something right now. Look at this. Great job, guys, to get that. Crosby streams right to the net. They can't believe it.
Then Russ backhand behind the back pass at the outside of the net. And now Gensel floats it through. It's loose. They score! Sidney Crosby has tied it for Pittsburgh.
Boy, Jordan Binnington not happy. Sidney Crosby celebrates the goal. Paint. Keep our eye on Sidney Crosby there. He's between Mikkola and the goaltender. Looks like he's outside the paint.
Really strong with that stick. Probably didn't like the change in the cross-check rule because he liked to use that quite often.
Brian Rust in the attacking zone. Leans in, goes to Gensel, back in front. Crosby, he scores! Sidney Crosby! Along with Gensel and Rust, they've still got the magic. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
They don't get it deep. Petrie is caught up ice, the defenseman, and everybody touches the puck here. 1, 2, 3, and Primo ends up in the corner. Crosby fights off a check there, a back check on Petrie.
Tries a pass, couldn't get it through Giroux. He pops it up to Letang. Keep it alive, played by Crosby. Crosby on the power play. It's a cross ice for Malkin. Inside for Rust. Gensel sprints over, pulls it away from Sanheim. Brian Rust, hard pass, Letang. Crosby opens, kicks around in front, back to Malkin, over to Crosby. He scores! Crosby, 500! A sensational moment. 500 goals in one remarkable career.
Team coming on the ice, they win that battle. It goes off the body of Carter Hart and Sidney Crosby on a feed from Evgeny Malkin. Maybe that was appropriate as Brian Rust picks up the puck. Gotta love it.
Right to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
You can tell it's a big one for Crosby as he recognizes the fans here in Pittsburgh, and you got to think he wanted to do it here.
Heading out of the box right now, so chalk up another kill for Carolina. Brian Rust is into the attacking zone, a flying gets it for Crosby, he scores! Sidney Crosby! Penguins flying, it is 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Letang looks tape to tape, isn't it? Knocked down by Rust, who chips it right back to the flying Gensel. Gensel makes a play right between the legs of one of the defenders there. Absolutely spectacular play right onto the tape of Sidney Crosby. Look at that play.
Pittsburgh regroups. Matheson turns his way. Right back up ice. He's in. He lost it. Little back pressure from Ekholm. It's stolen by Crosby. Crosby waits. Dish to Crosby. Cal. Crosby scores! Point number 1,400 for Crosby. It's an overtime winner.
And there's your point leaders, NHL all-time. He's got Ovechkin to catch and the late, great Dale Hawerchuk. Old Ducky had 1,409 points. One of the great centermen of all time.
Goal number 514 for Crosby, 19th career overtime winner.
Love this play by Matheson, though. He sees the parting there, and he just drives home. And the first one was stopped. And look at Crosby, steals the puck from Granlund. He waits and waits and waits, tries to play it back to Matheson. Matheson got taken down. But this half slapper here by Raquel was a thing of beauty. And a severe angle, a brilliant goal by Crosby to just a one touch this puck. Outstanding play. Raquel did a great job on the first goal of the game as well. But look at this, there's not much of an angle right there. And he just barely hoists that into the net. Matheson deserves a lot of credit too, Brennan. And then Crosby strips the puck from Granlund, trips him up while he gets it there as well. And a broken down play, but it goes for the net.
For Prince Edward Island, picks up speed through center. Turnover, Gensel 2-on-0 with Crosby. The pass, Gensel, Crosby, he scores! There's the magic again. Gensel, Crosby, and it's 4-1.
Well, a couple of PEI guys got caught on an island by themselves. And then it was just Crosby and Malkin, and Sorokin played it perfectly. He went post to post with his skates. Watch Sorokin, great push. Crosby, there was no room there and he put it in. What a shot. Right over the glove, off the shoulder, Super Mo.
He says something coming right up between his legs. Yeah, easier to pick up for a player.
Yeah, absolutely. We skate onto it just late in front of him. We got something here, guys. 2-on-1, gets a saucer pass, Crosby in, he scores! 87, buries it, we're tied at 1.
Two you don't want on the 2-on-1. Gensel, Crosby, what a feed by Gensel. Aerial pass over Cernak. Take a look at this, just a beautiful pass, and Crosby goes against the grain as Elliott moves left to right. Crosby moves to the backhand.
Get through center, Evan Bouchard from 100 feet out. No worries for Jarry, and trying the home run feed. Skips its way to Raquel. Raquel bends off one, pass in front, score! It's Sidney Crosby. Raquel found him. 2-1 for the black and gold.
He can play the puck. And look at the puck protection, vision, and Crosby with the elevation. He knew he was coming. Found the seam.
Time decided by Jarry. And here comes Pittsburgh through the neutral zone. Brian Rust with help. Drops it back and a goal! Sidney Crosby, just 40 seconds in.
Told us this morning, was worried that they maybe weren't quite as sharp. Well, it doesn't get any worse than this. First shift of the game, Sidney Crosby takes a deflected pass. Rust wants to go across to Jeff Petrie, and when it hits Lindholm's skate, it bounces back. Jake DeBrusk is a stride behind Crosby. He can't deny him, and Crosby, perfect shot. Center.
Well, the Penguins would like to open it up a little bit. Maybe they'll look just offside. We'll see.
Crosby at backhand, he scores! Sidney Crosby!
The Leafs are going to fan on this. Crosby's going to pick it up. Maybe only half the puck is over and half's on. If half's on the blue line, it's good to go. And one of the great backhands in the game on that flat blade is Sidney Crosby's. And he beats Matt Murray to the blocker's side.
In the period, Letang, left side Pettersson winds up, slap pass, score! Sidney Crosby, a beautiful deflection in the high slot. And in the closing seconds of the period, the Penguins take a 2-0 lead.
Tell you what, Pettersson's had a heck of a game. Crosby's going to come in right there. And with that small blade of Crosby's and that straight stick of his, no curve hardly at all, he gets it right on the heel. And that is a brilliant redirection right there.
But look, Pettersson heads up. He knows exactly where he's putting that one. Crosby, the little skate lift to make sure the puck doesn't hit his skate on the way in.
For Brian Rust. Back in, and shot by Gensel, and score! Penguins have a 2-1 lead! What an effort from Sidney Crosby!
Jake's gonna bump out on a play, gets the shot. Watch Sidney Crosby. He knows he's got to elevate. He knocked that out of the air, didn't he? He knocked that right out of the air. That puck did not even touch the ground. Let's take a look. He jumps here, it's in the air, and then he is able to somehow just chip it.
In the box for hooking. Ripped up ice by Letang, bounces over. Elliott popped it up. Raquel slows it down, goes to Letang. Letang drive in front, score! Sidney Crosby on the power play, and the Pens are up 3-2.
It would have been an ice here, but Elliott plays it. And there goes the icing. He can't get back into position. And a beautiful play to the backside by Jake Gensel. And Brian Elliott, who played a pretty darn good hockey game here, can't bail himself out after that turnover. And the Penguins take advantage of the Stamkos hook. And they're up in this hockey game 3-2.
It's Pens trying to win. It's hit by Gensel. It goes wide. Gensel out muscled by Goodbranson. Robinson couldn't clear. Stick check with the puck. He's Evgeny Malkin. Crosby open. Drive. He scores! Sidney Crosby. They come all the way back to win it. A rally that you'd have to be here to believe.
Robinson, he had a chance to clear it. Take a look, there's no clear there, stick on puck. And then Crosby opens up and just rips this shot. One times it short side on Hutchison. Took every little thing they had, every ounce of energy, but the Penguins got it done here tonight.
Malkin to Crosby.
Precision, that's why you practice it every day in practice. Repetitive repetition, you keep working on it.
5 straight goals.
Kind of simplified things here with the depleted defense that they have.
Offensively, Penguins have scored only 1 goal the last 2 games. Nice move by Crosby. He scores! Sidney Crosby gives the Penguins a 1-0 advantage.
Looks like he's going inside, and then he comes back outside. Gerard was skating forward there. He never even got... He starts turning forwards. He thought Crosby was going to go ahead, and then he just lost where he was. And you talk about an incredible shot on the backhand. And it doesn't get any better than that on the backhand by Sid the Kid.
Is there a better backhand in the game than what Crosby has?
Raymond back to Sider. Corrado one-timer that sails around the glass and all the way out with 10 seconds to go in the opening period, and the power play is over.
All hands on deck with that penalty kill there from the goaltender on out.
Crosby a steal. Scores! A giveaway burns Detroit. 2-0 Pittsburgh with 1.5 on the clock to end the first period as Crosby advantageous.
What a turning point in this hockey game. The penalty kill, the pressure leads to the turnover, and one of the best backhands in hockey that we've seen in decades. The pressure by Gensel forces the turnover in front of the Detroit net, and Crosby, there's not many that can elevate a backhander like Crosby can, and he scores with a 2.5 seconds to go in this first period.
Disrupted by Billy Husso. Looked like he tried to go between the legs. Crosby in the left wing corner. Up high to Letang. A return to the captain. Crosby shoots. Score! 1,500 career points for Sidney Crosby. His second goal of the game. And it's 4-1 Pittsburgh.
And then eventually Crosby gets it, and what a perfectly placed shot. We saw the backhander earlier in the game, this one on the forehand, and
gives a little bit of breathing room for the Pittsburgh Penguins with 16 and change to go.
Instant connection. As Mike Sullivan says, you know, there's no greater ambassador for hockey than Sidney Crosby. Here's Rust. This top line pressuring again for Pittsburgh, centered by Crosby. Crosby sent it for Gensel. Back for Sid the Kid. He scores!
The Penguins start cycling the puck around the zone, and Crosby takes a return feed from Gensel back. After ankle surgery kept him out for all of training camp, and Crosby, who'd missed a deflection and a rebound moments earlier, threads the needle through Alex Vlasic, past Peter Mrazek.
Off to Kucherov, pass knocked down. Gensel gets it to Crosby. He's gone. Sidney Crosby scores! And life from the captain, who goes upstairs on Vasilevsky. Well, that's what you want to see right there. Sidney Crosby in the open ice. I was thinking he was going to go backhand. Why? Because he's probably got the best backhand in National Hockey League history, but he goes forehand upstairs on Vasi. And you're going to watch a little bit of confusion there by the Lightning. I love the way Jake Gensel intercepts this and then lobs it out there to Sid. And I'll tell you what, I know we've talked a ton about Tristan Jarry. He's bought them time. He's bought them time. They've had a few shifts in a row, like you mentioned. Now
Gensel, shot, saved by Kemper. Oh, the rebound swept away. Carlson, Malkin. Here's Gensel, shot, deflected, score! Sidney Crosby. It's a power play goal. One for Ovi, one for Sid. It's his 21st goal of the year. And the Capitals' lead is now 4-2.
I'll get one of my own, and this one reflects the city of Pittsburgh. All blue collar. Second effort. Watch Sidney Crosby. Goes down on in a squat here in the middle of your screen. There he is. Gets underneath the D. Down on one. 1, 2, 3 efforts at this one, Callie, before he finally puts it home.
I love what he does there. He just makes himself big. He just wants that puck to hit off him and go in. He knows it's a high pass coming. Stays with it. Puts it in the back of the net.
So here we go. We get it again as they'll face off. Masked to visor as he's got his cage on right now. Bedard back in the lineup.
And the opening face-off, just like was the case on opening night, won by Sidney Crosby. As the Penguins go to work, you got to look at the Toyota Grand Highlander lines at the top of your screen as Crosby's redirect scores! 15 seconds for Sidney! And the Penguins strike right off the hop. 1-0.
How many times have we seen him score like this? Forehand, little tip in front of the net. And what an effort by Pettersson to throw that there. He was in a real awkward position just getting that through. But this is something I think they have to do a lot more of, just getting pucks in that area. And Crosby, the most dangerous guy on the ice. Look at him here. He just worked himself out the backside of the net, and no one knew. It's like he did a magic trick. He disappeared.
Puck and just a lot of body movement, just a lot of different looks. Here's Crosby, one-timer, scores! An absolute missile from the captain, and a power play goal puts the Pens in front late in the first. Well, partner, how many times have you seen it? A bad penalty ends up in the back of your net. Face-off win, he gets a little help from Brian Rust. And then Erik Karlsson walks it to center, waits for Sid to open up on the opposite side. His one-timer side is a left-hand shot. But boy, does Sid get all of this. This is a laser beam that goes blocker side on Cam Talbot.
As Ruskell carry down low for Crosby. In front, Bunting saves off, it's loose. Crosby walks it in, and that is gonna count. Power play goal for Pittsburgh, and they're up 1-0.
Goal waved off, they come right back into it. You mentioned Bunting, 20th goal
waved up. I was about to say as this play was going on, he'll be in the mix. You know, he's around it. And Crosby found him at the net front, and then it was like time stood still. Look at this, just creeps behind Saros. No one knows except for 87, who was behind the net.
Letang to Carlson. Delays. Letang to Malkin. Crosby's in front. Letang with the shot blocked by Greenway. Right back to Letang. Now Malkin's turn. Fires across Carlson. Back door. They score! It's Sidney Crosby. And it's an overtime winner. A milestone night in Pittsburgh ends. How else? With a Crosby game-winning goal. On the power play here, he gets strong on that leg, and there it is. How many times have you seen that in his career?
Yeah, just so smart. Look at, watch him drop down. He's not missing this, drops down. That left leg down, bottom hand down, strong on his stick, because he knows his pass is coming heavy, and it's end over end. I think it went off his stick, and then he uses his body behind it, almost like a catcher in baseball.
Here comes Letang right into the slot. Crosby blocked on its way to the net by Gauthier. And he overskates. And he turns it over. Crosby, he's alone. Sidney Crosby scores! The losing streak is history as Crosby serves up a Halloween treat. And the Penguins get a 2-point party on 5th Avenue. 2-1 over the Ducks. That's all the Penguins needed, Borky.
Let's give Cody Glass some credit there.
Yes, sir.
Right? A lot of credit there. That was Cutter Gauthier. A little malfunction at the junction, but how about Sid? He chipped it. He chipped it where only he knew he could get to it.
The Islanders start back up ice. Simon Holmstrom down to the Penguin zone. Carlson's outlet, Penn's in the midst of a change. Raquel gets stick on puck as it deflects down to the Islander end. Turnover, right atop the crease, they score! Sidney Crosby on the backhand. It's 5:98, and it's 1-0.
It just bounces off his skate, goes right to Sid on his backhand, which for most people is like a forehand, and just puts this thing back bar and down.
Great. He'll open up, back to Carlson. Nice move, steps in, looking for help. Crosby winds and blast off Blackwood and wide.
Just hit his glove.
Crosby will try again, scores! 5:99. 3-0. The captain inches closer to history.
But guess what? He just said, you know what, just give me the rock. I'm gonna let it rip. One big shot, it works back to him, and then through traffic. Blackwood's trying to track that thing. Layers of bodies. Cunnin, Sharks defender. Raquel moving and sliding in front. He had enough.
Here's Rust. Passing to Carlson, back to Rust in front, he missed Crosby backdoor. Raquel looking, Malkin shot, banked wide. Bodies tumble behind the net, it comes right up to Carlson, looking for Crosby, he scores! You can add another historic chapter to Sidney's story. The 21st player ever to 600 career goals. Sir Sidney Crosby.
What a moment in Pittsburgh here. We get to see the great 87, man. Just all over that back post this entire time. I'm right here if you guys got an opportunity, you need a blind pass, I'm right here, but what a feed by Erik Karlsson. That puck squirts free to the middle of the ice, walks in, you gotta honor the shot, which opens up that passing lane. And that's a tight little window. Sid had to sneak that puck through, and he just does that.
Standing ovation inside PPG Paints Arena. How lucky is this organization and this city to have that guy?